I'm Dr. Maria Gross, and thank you so much for attending our Intern Credential information meeting. And basically, I'm going to go through the basic information, and then at the end we'll have time for questions. And you can use the chat if you'd like. I'm going to say that a couple times just as people join us. But we've got a fair number of people that have already gotten it who want to learn more about the Intern Credential here at Azusa Pacific University. So I'll go ahead and get started. Obviously you're here hopefully because you're interested in getting paid while earning your credential and during clinical practice. And if that's true, then studying and working under an intern credential may be the teacher preparation pathway for you. We'll walk through key information to help you begin exploring APU's intern credential pathway. I'm very excited that you're considering this teacher pathway, preparation pathway. I personally earned my teaching credential working full-time under a similar credential in Washington. It was very rewarding because I was able to immediately apply my coursework, but it was also very challenging to balance the coursework, the teaching responsibilities, and a husband and 2 kids, but it can be done. We'll explore the process and APU support in this intern credential information session. Please, as I said before, please save your questions for the end or type them in the chat where we are recording this meeting for future reference. So in this meeting, we will define what and who an intern is, identify requirements to become intern eligible, and the process to obtain an intern eligibility letter. Then we will assess hiring options and Apprise requirements for maintaining your intern credential. At the end, we'll address your questions. So if a question arises, please type them in the chat. If you're watching this as a recorded meeting, you may email questions to me at mgross@apu.edu. The email is given on the last slide also. So who and what is an intern credential teacher candidate? In other words, an intern. There are several pathways to earning a credential. The traditional pathway involves taking coursework the first year with embedded field experiences where you observe and work with a host teacher. At the end of the traditional program, the teacher candidate then is placed with a master teacher and works side by side with this experienced educator in his or her classroom, and then solo or co-teaches for a minimum of 4 weeks during the clinical practice semester. California's primary alternative pathway is via the intern credential. An intern is the teacher of record for his or her classroom. A district may hire an intern if there's no preliminary or clear credential teachers available for hire. An intern is matched with a district employee, often a lead teacher or a district coach, as well as an APU mentor. If the teacher candidate becomes an intern just for clinical practice, then APU provides a dedicated university mentor. If the internship begins prior or continues post-clinical practice, the intern is supported by a mentor via APU's intern support course, where support is individualized based upon the intern's need. An intern takes the same coursework as a non-intern, but is able to directly apply the course material in his or her classroom and get paid by the district while you're learning. So the intern eligibility. Intern credential pathway is not the pathway for everyone. When considering this pathway, pray and reflect. Are you an independent learner? Are you open to feedback? Are you dedicated to the rigor necessary to balance coursework, full-time teaching, family, and everything else? Are you ready and excited about the challenge of beginning your teaching career as an intern? There is extra work involved in being an intern. District and school teaching requirements and APU intern documentation requirements. CTC requires interns receive and document 72 hours of intern support each semester. As discussed previously, APU support is provided primarily by your university mentor and the intern coordinator, which is me, APU has specific online modules, and mentors may even suggest additional topical research to increase your pedagogical knowledge. District and school support is provided by your site mentor or administrator, a professional learning community, or other designee. Districts and schools may have you attend specific trainings in addition. In addition to all of those requirements, the CTC requires that English language learner support for 22.5 hours per semester is required for interns who do not hold a previous English learner authorization. This support may be provided by APU or your district or school. It will be your responsibility to document the support hours each session and report these to the intern coordinator. So here's a checklist to find out when you're ready to be eligible for intern. And there's a website on the bottom here. I'm going to repeat this website on the last page also. But before beginning this adventure, there are defined requirements that CTC has developed. Look over this checklist, I'm going to read it also, and review the full details on our APU website that I've given there and on the last slide. So you have to have a bachelor's degree. You need to be admitted into our preliminary credential program. You have to pass this California Basic Skills Test, the CBEST, and you also have to have passed your subject matter competency, which is your CSET or subject matter preparation. You have to have a minimum GPA of 3.0, so in other words, no grade below a B-. You need to be in good standing with the university. You have to have passed the U.S. Constitution course and exam, and you need to have already completed 30 hours of early field work experience via one of our APU fieldwork embedded courses. And there's 120 hours pre-service hours, including 45 EL hours that are fulfilled by coursework. So it's a long list, and this is being reviewed, so you don't have to write everything down. This is being recorded, so you'll see this, and it's also on the website. But I'm going to recap it here. So the process is you need to meet all the items on that checklist, and here they are summarized. First, you must be admitted to one of APU's teacher credential programs, single subject, multiple subject, and educational specialist. Then complete one full semester of coursework. It's our modules 1 and 2, and then pass all the courses with a B- or higher. You also need to be meeting all the requirements for clinical practice clearance. So in essence, you're clearing for clinical practice about a semester earlier than the traditional pathway. That includes passing all the required CSETs for your credential area. At that point, you can contact your credential analyst, and she will work with you to receive an intern eligibility letter. And then you start looking for a teaching position with one of our partner districts. So there are some hiring options once you've become eligible. So we have over 200 district partners, and they're all within 50 miles of an APU campus. There's a full list provided on the credential website, and I've given the credential website on the slide there. And you can even Google Azusa Pacific Credential Office, and it'll pop right up for you. So APU has established these partnerships so intern eligible teacher candidates are able to find a position near their home and the regional campus, because you're going to be taking classes at the same time as you're working. We also have partner districts contacting us for our completers and those who are still in our program who are intern eligible. Because of APU's strong reputation, our teacher candidates and interns are highly sought. So you can see the job posting website there with the alumni website on sitesgoogle.com, apu.edu, SOE alumni home. Again, if you go and you go to the APU website, you can find alumni and it'll come right out to you. Now, all of these positions do have to be reviewed by the program director and the director of clinical experiences prior to approval for the intern credential. So what should you do if you're offered an internship? So you will be working closely with your credential analyst throughout this entire process. As soon as you get offered a position, let her know so she can celebrate with you and then guide you through the position approval process. As I stated before, it's very important, your program director and I will review the position and work with you to finalize the hiring process. And then we get to celebrate with you again as you earn your intern credential. There are ongoing requirements once you get your intern credential. So APU knows earning your credential is challenging and demanding. As an intern, you are responsible for planning, teaching, assessing, and being the teacher of record for your classroom, all while taking classes and meeting APU's preliminary teacher credential program requirements. APU offers additional and targeted support to our interns. We have an intern support team composed of your credential analyst, the director of clinical experiences intern coordinator, me, your university mentor, program coordinator, and program director. We will work closely with you, even sending reminders, so you will meet these ongoing requirements and maintain your intern credential. Our prayer is that you successfully complete your program while learning as you apply coursework, and even having some fun as you see the difference you are making in your own classroom of students. APU will work together with you to address any challenges, and then, most importantly, to celebrate with you as you complete your program. So these are the ongoing requirements. Again, we walk you through it. We make sure that you're taking care of the documentation, making sure your grades are good, are at the B- or above, that you're enrolled in the appropriate support courses, and completing the required exams like CalTPA and RECA. So we're wrapping up the overview of what it is to be an intern. And as you consider the intern credential pathway as part of your APU preliminary teacher credential program, what questions do you have? And we'll open that up in a second, but again, because we're recording this. And then if you have any future questions, or if you're listening to this in the recording, please contact me, Dr. Maria Gross, at mgross@apu.edu. My email is on the slide. And then again, there's the email to refer to for additional information about credential programs. So what questions do you have about the intern program? And you can unmute yourself and jump in. Some of the questions I'll go through, some of that I've heard from candidates because I've been working with them for the last year and a half or so, is the paperwork requirement. You do have to log your hours, and what I recommend is each week we have a form. So each week you write down what kind of support you got. So did you have a professional development meeting at your school? Did you contact your university mentor to ask for some help in, maybe there's a general question about the CalTPA, or even better, even more poignant is, I'm having issues with classroom management. How can I work with my classroom? And so you log those hours, you keep that, and then once this is a session, so every 8 weeks, you get on to TaskStream, which is our documentation website. You type those in, and then you upload your log that you've been keeping. So I got a question: is this available for APE teachers, so assisted PE teachers? It can be, yes, because you'll be meeting the same requirements as other programs. You would need to find a position that meets your credential area. So you have to be finding work in an area that that supports what credential you're getting. So you would have to find a position for that. And another question, available for special ed teachers? Yeah, definitely. Over half of our interns are in special ed, both mild, moderate, and moderate severe. There's a great need for special ed teachers, and so the districts are having a hard time finding teachers who hold a preliminary or a clear credential, preliminary clear credential, so they can open up and they do look for interns. Those are most of my phone calls and my emails are for special ed. So to review the process, please, we're recording this so you can go through it, but basically it's once you have completed the first full semester of courses, so modules 1 and 2, you are able to then start working with your credential analyst to get an intern eligibility letter. You need to have all your exams passed. So all your CSETs have to be passed, and obviously CBEST, because you need that for applying for the program, and then you need to be part of our program. There's classwork is another question that comes up too, the coursework, because your first, well, both of them, during clinical practice, during both of your sessions, so your entire semester of clinical practice, you will be taking coursework. And you do need to be on campus for some of the courses. So that becomes challenging. So you need to usually have one night that you need to be at your 4:45 to 9:30 course, which is when our courses are run. So you have to make arrangements for that with your boss, who is your principal, to make sure that you can attend the courses. But they realize that, and the principals sign a letter. It's a principal letter that states that they understand that you are taking courses and that you are being supported by APU in that area. Please recommend, okay. Okay, how long is a typical semester? Our semesters run 16 course weeks. So there are 2 sessions of 8 weeks each for the semester. Spring semester is a little different because you have spring break in there, and you do not participate in APU spring break. You participate in your school spring break, so it works out to be 16 weeks, but if you look on calendar to calendar, start to finish, it looks like 17 weeks, but you know that you have a spring break in there also. And I'm excited, Leah's all excited about getting ready to teach, and wonderful that you have experience. And that's a lot of our interns have been working as instructional coaches or have some very strong connections with districts, and that's where they find their position. And then they want to continue to work, not as an instructional assistant, because you have to then be hired into a position that uses the credential that you're looking for, but you can then work and take your classes and get your credential. Do we have to have passed CSET in order to apply? No, you don't. Not past CSETs, you have to be registered for your CSETs to apply for APU. So then to become intern eligible, that means you would need to have your CSETs passed within one full semester of beginning classes. So if you start in the fall with us, that means that by December, you need to have all your CSETs passed. Now, yeah, because you could start looking at intern eligibility then. So you need to be thinking about having your CSETs passed by December or January so you can become intern eligible. How long is the intern program? That's an interesting question. The state issues a 2-year intern credential. What we ask for is we don't normally have you in as an intern for 2 full years because our program's only a 1.5 years anyway. So if you become intern eligible 1 semester before clinical practice, there's 1 semester being an intern, then you're an intern during clinical practice. So there's 2 semesters, so 1 year in essence. And then we give you another 8 weeks to wrap up any kind of paperwork or passing the RECA or passing the Cal TPA if that's necessary, if you haven't passed it in clinical practice. So usually our interns are interns for 1 semester to maybe 1 year, depending upon when they became intern eligible. Excellent questions, guys. Another comment, and this is one of the reasons we're doing these information sessions, is I had a couple of interns as they finished the program just wanted, had wished that they had learned more about the requirements, and it is challenging. It is challenging to be an intern and so working full-time and taking your full-time coursework, because at the end of your program, you're working on your master's level courses to earn the master's degree, and it's an embedded program, so you earn a credential and a master's degree. They go together. So just be really aware of that. That's why I said be very prayerful about your decision if this is something you want to do. It is extremely rewarding if you do it. So question. Do you suggest waiting to apply so you have your CSET, CBEST done? Apply for a program? No, because you need to be in the program, so you do have to have your CBEST done before you apply to get into our preliminary credential program. You do need to wait until all your CSETs are passed to apply as an intern for an intern credential. But yes, you definitely have to have CBEST done before you can apply. For the APU and most universities programs for the teacher preparation, meaning apply after you have done those. So as soon as you get your CSETs done and you want to be an intern, that's when you should be starting to talk to your credential analyst, and they will make sure your time frame is correct. I have an understanding that I'm exempt from a single subject CSET. Oh, okay. Any kind of exceptions, exemptions has to be reviewed by the program director and your credential analyst. We do have some people that because of coursework or usually coursework or intensive job experience can get an exemption for a CSET. It doesn't happen that often, but that's something you would talk to a credential analyst to make sure that that is true. So if Cal State LA has talked to you about that, that's a good question to ask one of our credential analysts. And if you go to the credential analyst website, they can tell you exactly who to talk to. We have them, they're divided into an alphabetical order, responsibilities and support. Okay, so for spring 2020 enrollment at around 17 weeks, I will be intern eligible as long as I have my CSETs done before that. Yeah, so if you're going to be starting spring of 2020, you will be jumping right into modules 1 and module 1 and 2. So you'll be done with that at the end of spring. Summer, you would be taking, we have two courses that you take during our summer session. And during that time, you could be working on getting your intern eligibility. So yeah, it's basically in May, you could start working on your intern eligibility if you begin spring 2020.
When does spring 2020 start?
That starts right around, I don't have the 2020 calendar in front of me, but it's right around January 7th, 2020. And Nori might have the exact date, but it's right around, it's that Monday of the first full week after, the first of the year. But we don't start, you got New Year's and New Year's Eve and all that stuff. So we start that next Monday after that, but that would be the beginning of the spring 2020 session. So we run a fall and we run on semester system. So we have a fall semester and a spring semester, but then we divide them into 2 different halves. So you focus in on 2 to 3 courses at a time during those. So it's really a spring 2020 semester. Okay, before entering the credential and master's program, I need my CSET pass. No, you do not have to have your CSET pass in order to be admitted into the program, into the preliminary credential program. You do have to be registered for a CSET, but in order to begin clinical practice or become an intern, you have to have all your CSETs passed. Start looking for intern. That would be correct. So if you are, if you If you are beginning our program in the spring, you finish your semester, and so we have your first 2 modules are done. You finish that the first week of May, right around there, and you can start looking for an intern position for the fall school year, and that's what a lot of our candidates will do. And hiring usually starts there. You cannot really start looking for a position prior to getting that intern eligibility letter, because you are not, you don't meet the requirements for being hired by a district at that point for an intern. There are other emergency credentials that a district could offer you that is not an intern credential, that could flow into an intern credential. But for an intern, you would need to wait until you finish that first semester of our coursework, first full semester. Summer doesn't count. That's why I have to say the first full semester. Yeah, it is very exciting to be working and earning your degree at the same time. I immediately was able to take projects and assignments that we were working on in class, because you're doing lesson planning and unit planning, and I used them in my classroom. So it was not something that I just did on the computer and just turned it in as assignment. I did it, turned it into assignment, and then I actually used it in my classroom. So it was extremely rewarding. And your students like to know that you're working hard too, and you're taking classes. So they appreciate it when I would tell them, oh, this is an assignment for my class, my school. You have to go to the intern route, or can you go into the basic teacher credit? Yes. So you would be admitted into APU's preliminary credential program, either single subject, multiple subject, or SPED. And you would just be admitted that. And then later on, you can decide if you want to become an intern. And if you don't, then when you apply for clinical practice, you just state that I would like to be placed in a school. And we have hundreds of districts that we work with to be placements. So you would be what we call a student teacher with a master teacher. So you'd be working alongside with a veteran teacher to guide you each day. So you can do either one, and you don't have to make that decision until clinical practice time. So you can wait until you finish up first 2 semesters of coursework, because our clinical practice is your last full semester. What route would be more beneficial? That is very unique to the person. You really have to weigh, you have to think about, am I able to balance multiple tasks at the same time? Can I do my class, go to classes, get my homework done? And it does involve having some field experiences. So you are in a classroom early, so you can get a feel for going to a school and that type of thing. But can you balance all that and then also be working a full-time job that is your first year teaching it too? So you are developing your own curriculum. Some districts, you need to work on your own curriculum. Some districts have the curriculum all set up for you. So can you handle a full-time job and going to school full-time is really the question. So they're both beneficial. There are pros and cons to both of them. Some of our candidates just really desire to have that veteran teacher walking alongside of them every single day and being in that classroom and learning from that teacher. Some prefer having their own classroom and just being able to jump right in there and working much more independently within the school. So that's the difference in clinical practices. Yeah, all of our teacher preparation, preliminary credential teacher preparation programs are an entire. It works out to be about 1.5 years. So the program itself is the same. All the programs are the same, except you would be adding on an intern position on top of what you are doing within the regular program. The basic route, as you said, is 16 weeks is just 1 semester. So you have 3 semesters of coursework, 2 semesters of coursework, 1 semester of clinical practice and coursework, and then a summer session in there also. tuition for, you know, there is financial aid. Tuition, I'm going to need to refer you to our website on that. I really don't have anything to do with the tuition. And it does not cost extra, except for and it does not cost extra to be an intern if you are only an intern during clinical practice. If you do have to take special, if you're an intern prior to or after clinical practice, you do have to enroll in a 1 credit, 1 unit intern support course. So it does cost whatever 1 credit costs, $600-700-ish for that intern support class. So the cost of being an intern is the same as just going through the traditional route, as long as you are only an intern during clinical practice. There you go. Thank you. Nori's written in there. $723 per unit for this academic year. Thank you, Nora, because I don't deal with the money side.
Would it be possible to apply for and go to school during the fall at this point?
I don't know that, I believe so, yes. And again, Nori will probably jump in because we are just doing our information sessions for candidates or students to apply for our fall session, our fall semester. So yes, I don't know the deadlines. So yeah, July 15th is the deadline for applying for fall. And then if you apply for fall, you could become an intern in the spring of 2020. Great questions, great questions.
What happens if you don't get a position right away? Can you get kicked out of the program?
No, not at all. If you don't find, if you state that if you come in intending to become an intern and you don't find a position, then you just go through our traditional program, and and for clinical practice, we find you a placement. So we will find a school for you so you can complete clinical practice. How many units total? Nori might even have this on the top of her head. They depend upon which program. It's about 44 to 46 total units, depending upon single subject, SPED, multiple subject, because there are 3 different programs we offer. If I applied for summer 2019, would I be able to apply for fall 2019, or need to wait for spring? Okay. Yeah, thank you. 44 to 47 units, depending upon the program. If I applied, Amanda, so if you apply to start our program, so the preliminary credential for summer 2019, which is wonderful, because then you'll take your first foundation courses then. Apply for fall 2019, you could not be an intern fall 2019 because you've only taken the summer foundation courses. You have to have which are not modules 1 and 2. You have to have the module 1 and 2 coursework to meet the state requirements for an intern credential. So you still would have to wait until spring 2020. That's why you have to complete 1 full semester, and summer does not count as a semester. It's an 8-week session. Yeah, so April 1st is the deadline to apply for summer 2019. So, very exciting for all of you thinking about this, getting into teaching and what pathways. You're getting a lot of exposure during this too, to learn about the intern credential as one of the alternative route pathways. So when you say modules 1 and 2, is that 2 classes? Are there are several classes. It's more than 2 classes. So you have 5 classes. So 2 classes for module 1, and those are 2 foundation courses. And then module 2 is another foundation course plus specialty courses. So if you're in SPED, you have a special class, and you start taking some some intro to your master's courses also. So there's multiple courses. So it looks like it's about, and you would go through this depending upon what program you're going. Your credential analyst would go through this with you, but it's about 5 courses are taken during modules 1 and modules 2. Can you complete the intern program and master's together? So it's not an intern program. So it's an intern pathway to get your credential in your credential program. So yes, we do have the credential portion, which is so you become either a multiple subject, a single subject, or a educational specialist credential, and the master's, and they are completed together. We do have credential only, and we do have a master's only program that you could do. So, but usually you're doing both. It's an embedded program, so you're getting your credential and your master's all together. The master's program is like an extra 12 credits. And you walk into a new position being higher on the pay grid and having your master's, which gives you more knowledge for your future students. Yeah, so April 1st deadline for summer 19, and July 15th deadline is for fall 2019 start date. So April 1st for summer 19, and July 15th is for fall 19. Okay, you're welcome, Lisbeth. So, other questions? Yeah, excellent questions. Do you have any other questions about the APU programs and an intern pathway to get through those programs? And if other questions come up, you've got my email there, and please feel free to just, send me a quick email and say, hey, I just thought of this really quick question, and I can get right back to you.
I saw that there is a program for counseling. Does that have anything to do with internships?
I don't know, because I'm in Division of Teacher Education, but there is a counseling program, and Nori is involved with all of SOE, School of Ed programs. So she can, she says she can send you information on that, but it is a different program than what I'm discussing here.
My name is Triola Delaney and Jai, and I saw it was education-based counseling. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what pathway I want to take.
Right, yeah, it is an education so the School of Education has school psychiatrists, school counseling, but also teachers. So I'm just talking about the teacher portion of that. So, but Nori can get you that information and get you in contact with somebody who can answer your questions about school counseling. Do you know anything about the autism authorization? I do know that I've had candidates go through the autism authorization. That's about all I know. But Anthony, I can have Dr. Bartholio get a hold of you, and he is our chair for SPED, and he can give you that information. In fact, he's taught classes with intern authorization before. So Anthony Rivers. So Anthony, I will need an email address. So if you want to email me, Anthony, and then I can forward your email to, there's Dr. Bartholio. There we go. So Nori has typed in Dr. Bartholio's email address, cbartholio, BARTHOLIO @apu.edu. So Leah, why don't you go ahead and reach out to Dr. Bartholio directly? Yeah, there we go. Nori said the same thing. So I need to have my CBEST done in order to apply. That is correct. And then CSETs need to be in progress. Yes, you have to show that you have registered for them. So that is correct. We want to make sure you have those basic skills done. Your best getting those CSETs done as soon as you can. They can hold up and have held up candidates who want to become an intern, and also candidates who are applying for clinical practice. So it's a good time, especially if you're not taking classes right now, to be getting a study guide and start studying for your CSETs and obviously your CBEST. Yes, so Leah, yes, Dr. Botholi has information for the special ed credential, yes. So if we don't have any more questions, we can go ahead and, oh wait, here we go. Nori's got some stuff. Oh yeah, the test prep. So once you're admitted into the program, you'd have 50% off your teacher's test prep, which helps you study for RECA, the CSET, CBEST, quite a bit for CSET, and also for RECA. So that the teacher test prep we use for RECA, which is the reading one that's special ed and multiple subject, need to pass that before we can recommend you for your preliminary credential. Okay, and Nori will share the program rep information in a follow-up email to everybody, because we have your emails when you registered. Yeah. Thank you all for participating. If you have other questions that come along, please email me, and I can, if I can't answer them, I will find the person who can answer the questions for you. So I'll stay on for like another 2 minutes in case there's some last minute questions you have. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap up this webinar. And I appreciate you participating in it. Great questions. Yes, have a wonderful day, everybody. Stay dry and don't float away. It's really raining out there. Thank you.